So this truck is $80,000, and this truck is $90,000. And these trucks right here, they're costing people their jobs.
Stellantis saying they plan to lay off roughly 2,450 workers.
And it's not just these trucks right here, there's a whole row of them. There's rows and storage lots full of these trucks. So these Ram dealers, they can't sell their trucks. So what's happening right now? Well, they're going to be laying off more workers.
Lay off nearly 2,500 union workers employed at the Warren truck plant. That's of the 3,700 people employed there.
And it's not just Ram that's laying off workers. All of these auto manufacturers across the board are starting to make cuts.
U.S. business at Nissan has faltered. They are offering buyouts to salaried employees.
This Wagoneer right here is $123,000. So Stellantis is going to be laying off about another 2,500 workers, and what they said was it's going to come as early as October. And this is no surprise. If you've been watching this channel, if you've been watching anything else in the car market, and here's one of the big reasons why they said that they were making these, they were doing these layoffs, just because they're cutting the production of the Ram Classic. So this is one of the lower tier styles that you'll see across the board for a Ram dealer. And I've seen them recently where they're like somewhere around $50,000. The Ram 1500 Classic, 2023 Ram 1500 Classic, Tradesman, Crew Cab 4x4, and the price on it, $50,000. That's going to be about the cheapest style truck that you're going to find in Ram. And it's interesting that that's the one that they're choosing to cut, because as we've seen, a big problem in the car market is affordability. So what, in Stellantis's just ultimate wisdom, what do they decide to do? Well, I think we should cut maybe our cheaper trucks. And it goes back to really, okay, what are they trying to do here? They're trying to make the most margin per vehicle that they can. That's their goal. They're not trying to do volume. You can see it here. Their volume's all sitting on these dealerships' lots right now. But the consumer is not of any of their concern. They just want to load these dealerships as much as possible and to make as much margin as possible. So they're going to cut the cheaper end of the trucks and keep pumping these dealers full of these $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 trucks that they can't sell right now. And the plant that's actually getting cut is the Warren Truck Assembly Plant, and they're going from 2 shifts down to 1 shift. But guess what else this plant also assembles? It's all of these Wagoneers, and you know what? They're not touching those shifts. They're keeping those shifts at 2. They're not cutting them down to 1. So it shows even further where Jeep, Dodge, Ram is looking to really put their money into, to put their production, to put all their labor into. They're looking to put their labor into high margin, very expensive, very, very, very expensive Wagoneers. Get those to the dealerships, make a lot of money on the Wagoneers, and the cheaper things they're not so concerned about. So we continue to get bad news out of Jeep, Dodge, Ram, but really they're not the only automaker that's really having a hard time right now. We have Nissan that just released that they're going to be offering a round of voluntary buyouts, and these are going to be offered to white collar workers that are 52 years and over, and this is just a big sign of weakness for the company. So Nissan, when they released a statement, they also said that they were not releasing actually how many employees they were planning on cutting. And a lot of these auto manufacturers, when they've released these layoffs, whatever, they've also said the exact same thing that Nissan has said. I know I've heard it from Stellantis too, that okay, they're going to be laying off people, but they are not really sure on what the number is. And I can almost guarantee that whatever layoffs they're doing right now, these are not going to be the first ones, and that's why they're not releasing these numbers, because the car market is getting worse. These dealerships are stacking up more vehicles every single day. Production has to get cut, so more layoffs coming down the line. And this right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a Grand Wagoneer, and it is, spit out your water real quick, $123,000. Insane. I just want to show you the sticker just so you can believe me on this. Look at this, $123,550. They got some add-ons here, it's $3,000, so that's not making up a bulk of it. Look, $123,000. $123,000. Did you hear me? I said $123,000 for this thing. Stellantis is going the absolute wrong way. If they want to stay in business, they can't keep doing that, because guess what? That's one of them. Look at this whole line right here. Wagoneers, 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 Wagoneers. Jeeps over there, some Wranglers, Guess what? Wagoneers, 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 Wagoneers. $123,000. This is not where the American public is wanting to put their money into. They want cheaper trucks, they want cheaper transportation. That's not the direction that Stellantis is going. All right, this is exactly what I wanted to find. All these trucks up here, I didn't see any of the classics, but here's one right here. So I'll show you what it is. This is the Ram 1500 Classic. I mean, it's a boring truck, but it's one of the most affordable ones. So it's really gonna be sold off price point, not by looks. This is more of a get to work kind of truck. And they're going to sell a lot more of them on the fleet side than actually to consumers. But I wanted to look and see if we can see a price. Yeah, look, the MSRP on it's $49,000. So this is what they're getting rid of. They're getting rid of the low price point truck versus what you see up here, which is $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 trucks. No, they don't want to make just they don't want to sell just the little $50,000 truck. They want to get you in that $90,000 truck. So there was even an article that came out recently that Stellantis is suing one of their dealers here in North Carolina, where I am, that this dealership is actually canceling its franchise. It's taking away this franchise. It doesn't want to be in the Stellantis business anymore. And there's a law in North Carolina that states that if a dealership, if a franchise decides to do this, then any of the unsold new vehicles over the last 24 months have to be rebought by Stellantis, or by the auto manufacturer that the franchise is associated with. Well, Stellantis is actually suing to not have to do this. This accounts for about $180 million worth of vehicles that Stellantis doesn't want to buy back. And it's a lot of these fleet vehicles right here that this lawsuit is wrapped up in. What they're saying is that, okay, well, the dealership didn't even advertise these. They were selling them for crazy, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that's wrapped up in the lawsuit that Stellantis doesn't want to have to buy these vehicles back, because Stellantis knows they don't have anywhere to put them. These dealerships, they're trying to get out of business of the Stellantis business. Literally, this is what this dealer is trying to do. They're trying to get rid of all these vehicles, and the easiest way that they're determining for them to do it is to basically go out of business. So they want Stellantis to abide by the law and take all these vehicles back, and Stellantis doesn't want to take them back. So this is going to be an interesting story for us to watch. But it's just really telling to see that not only can this dealership not sell these vehicles, but they want out of them, and they want out of them as quickly as possible. And the best way for them to do it, go out of business. This right here, the lot that I'm in right now, this is a used storage lot for a very big dealer. And guess what? There's not one used vehicle in this whole lot. They're using it all for brand new trucks. That's all they have. They have a few fleet vans, but other than that, it's all these Ram trucks. This is no surprise. This is no secret. Ram is having a hard time selling these trucks. Production has to get cut. So we're talking about layoffs in the auto industry. I can tell you where there's not a layoff problem that's going to happen in the auto industry, and that's right down there. What is that? That is their service center. So what's happening right now is people are keeping their used cars for longer because they can't come in and afford these trucks. They can't afford these big SUVs. So they're driving their cars for longer. And what does that mean? That means they're going to break more. So parts, service, there is a big boom in this industry right now for parts and service because people are fixing their cars more. They're driving them longer. Things are breaking. They're having to keep them running for longer because people can't afford the average monthly payment on a new car, which is $750, or even the average used car payment right now, which is somewhere around $550. Absolutely insane. No, they're not signing up for that. So they're going to let they're going to drive their 2007 Camry with 175 miles until the thing blows up. And then when it blows up, guess what? They still can't afford that new car, so they're going to have to fix it. So parts and service is a place where you're not going to see any layoffs because people have to fix their cars because they can't afford this this big line of these new Jeeps. We know from Nissan that they are one of the companies that are having the hardest time. I think we probably put Ram in the boat of the manufacturer that's having the worst time, but Nissan is pretty far up there. I've talked to a franchise manager recently of a Nissan dealership, and their days of inventory is going up. The amount of vehicles that are coming in versus the amount of cars that they're actually selling is not close. They're getting way too many vehicles, and that means that these dealerships are going to have to start turning down allocations. When that happens, these auto manufacturers, they get hit and they have to cut production, and that's what's happening at Nissan right now. So when they're cutting production, what they said is they have to look for ways to optimize their business. What does that mean? Optimization means, okay, they got to find ways to create more margin. They have to create ways to save more money. What's an easy way to save money? Well, across these auto manufacturers, you cut production, you're going to cut your head count. And on Nissan side, they're actually cutting a lot of their white collar workers. So they're even optimizing on that side of the business too. When production goes down, when sales go down, when dealers start turning out allocations, people have to lose their jobs. So here's another big tell for a lot of these dealerships, especially the Stellantis ones. If you see all of these, they got like year numbers in the window. Those are all used vehicles. All of these down here, those are all used vehicles. You got some more used vehicles over there. You got used trucks that are over there. And this is their new side of their lot. But on the other side where they have their used, it says used vehicles on the top of that building over there. It's a storage lot for used vehicles. They have all their brand new trucks. So it's very interesting that they're putting their used vehicles right up front where customers park, and that's the first thing that they see. I've heard this come out of a lot of franchise dealerships, especially on the Stellantis side, is that they're turning into more of a used car dealer. They want to sell used cars because they actually make more money from their used car sources than they do from their new car sources. And it's just a big tell that, okay, well, people aren't buying a lot of these Stellantis products, and incentives have to come through. They have to put, the dealerships have to actually discount these cars a lot more. So they're actually not making a ton of money off selling these new Jeep products. So they would rather sell their used vehicles. And this is a big problem for a lot of these dealerships, and it's going to be going forward because really they're a new car dealer. They want repeat customers for new vehicles, for new Jeeps. They want to sell new products on the back of these new vehicles, and people are not buying them. So what do they have to do? They have to resort to selling used Tacomas. A used Nissan truck right there, another Tacoma. We got a Ford F-150 down there because they want to be more in the used car business right now, because Stellantis is even more so not lowering the prices to where customers can meet these dealers to be able to make purchases, but also they're not helping their dealers out too. It's like Stellantis is doing everything in their power to really crush these American franchise dealers. And I know there's not going to be a lot of people on the side of these franchise dealers. Yeah, they've made tons of money over the last few years. But I mean, you know what? If Stellantis wants to be a brand in the US, they're going to have to go through these dealers to do it. And they're really just fighting against them really at every angle. Price point, doing any kind of assistance to help them get these cars off their floor plan. Because I mean, this is a massive, massive, massive lot. And this is just half of it. Over there, you've got another massive lot full of brand new trucks that they're not selling. These dealerships are in trouble. So they got to figure it out. And I've recently been to a Jeep Dodge Ram dealership that had still 2022 brand new Ram trucks sitting on their lot, and they were discounting them by $18,000, and they still weren't selling. So here's the thing. Okay, if you're going to have Stellantis that is wanting to sue this dealership for so they don't have to buy back these vehicles, they have to help out all of these other dealerships to actually get rid of these trucks, because this is not going to be the first situation where this happens. You're going to have a lot of other franchises that choose to, you know what, if we can get out of these trucks, this $180 million worth of trucks by just closing up shop, you know what, next year I don't even want to be a Stellantis dealer anymore because the situation is so bad right now coming out of their main office. I do not blame these dealerships whatsoever for choosing that route, but Stellantis is going to have to figure out ways to stop these other dealers for wanting to do that. It's almost like a self-repossession kind of thing, but they're getting their money back. So if you gave that situation to just the average consumer that's underwater on a lot of their vehicles, because I can guarantee you on those 2022 trucks that dealership has, they are severely underwater in those trucks, and they can just say, okay, let me close up shop and you could give me my money back. yeah, they're going to take that. So Stellantis is going to have to help these dealers actually get rid of these trucks. They're going to have to add more incentives to get rid of these trucks, or you're going to have other dealers self-repo with benefits, and that's what's happening right now. There is a whole storage lot, side lot full of these trucks. I don't like that. And I got it on my paper here just so I know exact. Nope. And okay.